Coming at you live from beautiful, responsible distances apart. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. What is going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. The other guy on the screen would be known as Brook Me 3, and I stole your thunder. That's your full legal given name. I think you've changed your identification by now, right?
Yeah, it's actually on my license plate too.
That's the important thing is, you got to really give into the brand. We are powered by the Overtime Podcast Network. I am Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram, and like I said, that guy's Brook Me 3 on also on Twitter and Instagram. Why don't you tell him about what's on today's show, Mr. Me 3?
I thought you were gonna say tell them about yourself.
Tell him about yourself. This is
no,
speed
I don't
dating.
want to do that at all. The big news. Well, we don't really have big news. Dodger Stadium's open for business, but kind of not really. We'll explain more about that because there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
This is what are we calling this? The single most important week of my life.
The single most important
Nothing
week
more
ever,
important could ever happen.
but
Ever
only this
in the
week.
history of ever. Baseball needs to get figured out this week. Almost 100% needs to get figured out this week. And we're not off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen. Then we also have, what else do we have?
We have Dodger Stadium is open for business, but it's not quite really. We also got to talk about Zoom, and a Boom Boom, the most recent Dodgers Zoom party. Apparently, people are saying that you don't sound good, which we had to kind of change things up here on our stream side. Not Brooke, the other guy, Gary. Gary's busy. He can't join us today. So we're going to be at the mercy of internet a little bit, guys. We'll try to keep working on it along the way, but hang with us. Hopefully, he sounds decent enough at some point in time. We also have to opine and talk about the best trades in recent Dodgers history. We'll get more into that later into the show. But before we do get into anything, we got to give a shout out to our friends over at Sportscaster. I don't have the bug up because, again, we're doing some things that are a little bit different right now today. But yeah, at Sportscaster, you can be the star of your own show with built-in studio graphics, special effects, all the bells and whistles that will make you not sound garbled like Brooke, apparently. Yeah, go check them out at sportscaster.com. That is CASTR.com, but check them out after this stream.
After the stream. Guys, you know what? I could just shut up the entire time, and if Clint, you just want to talk, and I'll just react as things happen. I'll just be a face. I'm a better face than a voice anyway. Well, no, not that either.
You produce
they're both
sounds.
pretty terrible.
Yeah.
The sounds do come out of my mouth. I can confirm that. Guys, don't forget, if you can hear me, and if I do sound okay, this is a live stream, so make sure you're dropping into the comments. Let us know where you're at Dodgers Nation. Let us know where you're at tonight. If you want to, what are you seeing in the comments, Clint?
I'm seeing that it's Perez 1619's birthday today, which is awesome. What's going on?
Oh my
The
goodness!
star of stage and Twitch. We got
Our
a birthday.
only Twitch user.
And he was supposed to be at Coors Field to see the Dodgers on his birthday. That sucks. That because of your birthday, we're not seeing the Dodgers today. Another birthday.
I blame your birthday.
Another birthday today. Our homegirl, our friend Ashley, she turned X amount of years old today. That's all I got. But happy birthday, Ashley.
Oh, X amount of years old?
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't out how old people are. I don't know how old she is. She doesn't look a day over. I don't know. Anyways, what else you got?
Neil over on Facebook says it's time for Dodger baseball. Neil, it's not quite time for Dodger baseball. I hate to tell you, but we're a little behind. Hopefully soon, but probably not soon.
We're trying.
We are trying. We got Brian over on Facebook representing Indiana. Wow, shout out to the Hoosiers? Is that the India? Is that India?
Sure.
Am I making that up?
I think
I don't know those middle states, That's did you know Hatfield's in Springfield, Illinois?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hear Springfield is a hell of a town.
Brought it up.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that before. Faux show. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We got to talk about what's going on with the baseball, but do keep going in those comments. We're gonna find you guys. We're gonna find some stuff. If you guys have heard anything about the news or the non-news, as Brooke alluded to, today what baseball has kind of sort of come to. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We're gonna get to you guys in a bit, but as you said, before we get to the most important week ever this week or this time around, because there seems to be each week is the most important week ever for baseball. Dodger Stadium is sort of open for business, but not our business and not baseball, unfortunately. Well, at least not baseball we can see, but it's open to players. It's open to medical staffers, it appears. There are some restrictions that apply, but last week, funny enough, of all people, Chris Taylor, CT3 himself, spilled the beans that players, a bunch of them were at the stadium kind of getting some work in, and we're going to try and hopefully this works well. If not, I apologize, but here I'm going to roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah. We can finally get into the stadium the last couple weeks, so that's been good.
Nice. Who's all been going in there?
It's been like me, Seager, Barnes, JT, DJ, Kenley, Woody, Scotty.
Nice.
And
that's a pretty good crew.
Yeah, they got us they basically got 2 to 3 guys coming at a time. We got 2-hour segments.
Nice. Are you hitting live off some of those pitchers?
Today was my first time hitting live off Kenley through today.
Oh, that's a good first one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just what you need. Ease back into it with the Hall of Fame closer.
Yeah, exactly.
So you recall that particular video? Great conversation, by the way. I love how much this quarantine has made Ross Stripling like an expert interviewer or interviewee, if you want to be fancy about it. But right off the bat, you got CT3 talking about how he's happy being at the stadium with him, JT, Seager's there, Kenley, all these players, and apparently he had just faced live pitching against Kenley Jansen, Hall of Famer in Stripling's eyes. But great stuff from Strip, live at the Sunset Strip. That comes, I think they go live every Friday on the Instagram, Dodgers Instagram. But it was pretty cool to kind of get that, because you that's what I feel like this offseason, this extended offseason has been. It's just been this roller coaster of, all right, we're going to get it. This is going to happen. And then it's like, oh no, this is not going to happen. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Where are you at? Where were you at with that? In terms of the emotion and now relating it to today?
When I saw that they had officially opened up Dodger Stadium or whatever they wanted to call it, I thought it was interesting that they didn't really address the fact that players have already talked about actually being at the stadium.
Yeah.
Seems strange to me that no one said anything about that, but they're like, all right, well, I guess we're going that route. But they're like, it's only medical purposes. It's only rehab purposes.
Allegedly.
And obviously today there was the big press conference about Dodger Stadium being a coronavirus testing facility, like the biggest in the country or whatever. With that being said, I got excited because I was like, when I heard Taylor was specifically taking live batting practice against Kenley, to my mind, I was like, that's a really good sign. That means they're ramping players back up. That means they have a good idea of things that are, if a deal is able to show up or whatever, that means that things are going to get rolling quickly. So once they agree to it, things are going to start moving really fast. Baseball's going to get going again. Today was not so encouraging and made me feel a little bit worse. No, a lot worse. I'm sad. My official statement is damn sad.
I know we saw it on Twitter, but before, one last little note before we get into the topic of whether or not baseball can actually happen in 2020. At least there was a positive note that the Dodgers aren't going to be furloughing or laying off any of their players. Something apparently what you like to call them the $2 billion Angels can't do. But that's something that's you'd like your ball club to do. You like to see that. You feel good about your ball club not getting rid of any of their staffers. Just because you're on bad times doesn't mean you could just change things or, furlough or whatever the hell it is, cut people's days, hours, time, whatever it may be. So good on the Dodgers for being responsible with their assets and employees. The one thing is there will be some pay cuts for people that make a lot of money. What is it, $75K and over? Chump change, I guess, but pretty cool. That's good on you, Dodgers. We're proud of you. Also,
I think they're one of the few big league teams too who have
Yeah.
been pretty open about their executives and their higher ups taking larger pay cuts than everybody else.
Mhm.
I think only the Nationals are the other team that have publicly come out and given like exact percentages. I think their executives are taking like a 30 or 20% pay cut, but it's cool to see that they're doing it to make sure people can still keep their jobs.
Yep.
I know Artie Moreno's worth like a lot of money, and he's just deciding not to pay people, which is fantastic. The A's are worth about half of what the Angels are, and they're a team that just furloughed all their staff. So
Yeah.
it's like the A's you kind of get, not really, but the Angels, I don't usually talk trash on the Angels. I don't. That's too easy for me. But this week I'm taking shots at the Angels. I don't appreciate that. That's a low blow.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth like it's open season on Anaheim. That's 100% allowed. We're gonna give you that because why not? You get money because they're not spending any of it. But the big news from today that, again, like we said even last week, we're sure a lot of this is going to keep changing and, hopefully turn into something good or bad. Or, either just let us know if baseball's not going to happen at this point, guys, so we can stop and just give up on life for a few months. But, yeah, baseball seems to be kind of on death's door. That was the general consensus of today. Money's a bitch. That's just. I think that's the title of this episode, man. Money is a bitch. So, what was it they're going with? They're calling it a sliding pay scale, or something like that.
I think. I don't know.
It's so weird. Like we want to try. We do. I can't say we do our best, but we try to find a positive way to spin these things. We want to feel happy after doing these shows, especially now that we all, me, you, and Gary can't get together and go get tacos after it, at least for a little while longer. But you see this and you see like the former players who they're the most outspoken. Thankfully. People like Blake Snell have shut up except for signing a new contract with Scott Boras, which Boras saw him on Twitch and was like, oh, money. I think that's the way that relationship goes. But I like the take. I don't know. I can't say I like the take, but I can kind of see the take of it seems like they're trying to pit the union. They're trying to pit players against one another with this thing because the players that make the players, the major league players that make the least amount of money stand to get the closest to their originally agreed upon prorated salary, and players that make big money are getting dirt like arbitration first second year arb numbers for a Kike Hernandez type player or something like that. It's not I can't say it's not fair because it's millions of dollars, but when you're looking at what is that, like 7-8 million instead of 30 some odd million, that's a pretty stark contrast.
Yeah, just you said it. We talked about it. When it comes down to money, things get really messy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had kind of anticipated that it was going to be something like this. But looking back at the comments, I saw Mr. Tim Rogers is in here. And he was saying, it's negotiations right now. They will play. I'm still, I still hold on to hope that they're going to figure things out. I still think this is one of those things where they're going to bring their initial assessment, their initial proposal. The two sides are going to come together at some point. There's too much to lose for them to not play at this point.
For real.
I will say that those numbers that they showed of the proposed money versus what they were expecting, it's pretty drastic.
Yeah.
So when you start considering financials like that and how far apart the two sides are, it does make me a little nervous. I'm hopeful still. I'm hopeful that they'll come together and they'll negotiate better, and it'll just overall be a better deal. But man, it really does get messy when it's involving money.
Yeah, Passan tweeted out the numbers, and I have that up on the screen right now. So looking on the right side of the screens for those who are watching. The prorated amount, so the max of 35 million would have been 17.7 million apparently this year. Well, that's all the way down to $7.84 million. So that is, again, if you were expecting to make 35 mil in 2020 and you're going to make only that, I use only very liberally here. It's pretty wild, and you know, somebody like Bellinger, who just signed this, you know, huge first year arbitration deal, 11.95 or something like that. He might get just over $3 million. So that's they put all this time, they put all this effort, they put all this work into doing this and getting here, and then that happens. Not at the fault of the owners, not at the fault of them, but at some point, you know, the owners, they do have an abundance of money. They can kind of foot the bill a little bit here,
You think?
know, for the sake of your sport in the long term. And that's what it is. It's like looking at this long term, this continues to look just exceptionally bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you're considering the next couple of years, even it makes things tough. The current collective bargaining agreement is going to expire, and with that in mind, I can't see this working out well for both sides. I can't see this playing out in a way that benefits that CBA, especially the way things are going. And Major League Baseball had every opportunity to get in the good graces of the players' union and offer them something decent. And now it seems like they're not doing that. So it can't play well for the next couple of years.
No, it absolutely can't. And if you're going to put all this work and spill all this cyber ink on this bullshit right now, just to end up if we play again somehow, they get this 82 game season off the snide and make something happen. Yeah, like just to lose baseball again by 2022. It's going to happen. Now, there's not a sliver of hope in the world for baseball to go forward unmolested in a way here into you know the mid 2020s and all that. So, digging into some of the comments here, we got Danny saying, "Pay the players, owners won't feel a thing." No, they really. I mean, they will, but ultimately they won't, and it's going to be just so much better, leaps and bounds better for the long time. Emmanuel says, how is that 50-50? You know, for somebody making $35 million, they're making less than $75 million a year, or 75% of that. You know, how is that fair? And that's the biggest question, or I'm pretty sure that's the biggest thing that players are looking at least the players that have reached this point where they can sign these lucrative deals. You know, you're looking at your Machados, you're looking at your Harpers, you're looking at your Kershaws and all that. It's like, how is this fair to me, to my family, to, you know, whatever I may be doing for the community, really, because a lot of that money goes outwards. You look at somebody like JT who gives and gives and gives, even, I mean, the Kershaws as well. So, yeah, it's like, how is that fair? And I'm sure that's what's going on. And Tony Clark just is probably in so far over his head right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's never been something like this before. They've never had to approach even the top, like a conversation even close to this before. So for them to for Major League Baseball to like make it that easy to separate the guys on lower contracts, the guys on ridiculous contract, it makes it really tough, because in this financial situation, it's like if you're making $35 million a year, suddenly you're making, I don't remember what it says, $7 million or something crazy. And if you're a guy who was making, you know, $1 million a year, you're still making kind of close to $1 million a year. So when you're splitting apart the players like that, which it seems like that's what they're trying to do, honestly, when you're splitting them apart like that and you're trying to separate two sides of a players union, which is honestly probably a pretty smart tactic if you're Major League Baseball, you make it a really weird situation. And Tony Clark is, no matter what side he picks on this debate, he's wrong. Like, he's not going to be right. So they put him in a tough spot. They really backed him up against the wall in this one. But it sounds like they're just like, no, this is not okay.
Even for the extremely wealthy players, the 35 million, you know, players a year or whatever, they're still going to get at least $8 million. They would still get that kind of money. However, for the younger players, you know, we often look, point to Matt Beatty here on the show. Shout out to Gary. Gary likes bringing up Matt Beatty. But, you know, that's even that, you know, only 200, what was it? I mean, let me put it back on the screen so I could see it again real quick. But, yeah, 262K. That's like, that's world-changing. That's life-changing scratch right there. Believe you me, that is life-changing money for the next handful of years if you're smart with it. So it's just like there is that divide. I think it was Heyman who was the one who mentioned, or no, it wasn't Sherman. Joel Sherman would not post something like that, but John Heyman was talking about the players. Some of the players with knowledge of the players' side of the situation, they see that like you're talking about, that divide with there, and it's not even a 50-50 split. It's like you got probably 80% of the league going against the other 20 at most. Not everybody is on these massive contracts. So
right.
it's just, for day one of this and this much of it to spill out, I'm sure you saw that note. I think it was for MLS or something soccer related. They very much did not want the Athletic to get wind of any of the negotiations going on, which is kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
that the Athletic has built that that rapport already. This year and a half, 2 years into their existence or whatever. But we see Jim says this is the opening offer. They're going to negotiate, and that's what, like you said, like Tim said, there's going to be negotiations. But for this to be day one of the open air not open air, we shouldn't know as much as we know, but we do, and that's not even the full of it. That's not even the whole of what everybody knows. But still, it's a bad look. And Roach shares your sentiment. Brook Me 3. I am so sad.
Yeah, I was really I knew we weren't going to get it, but I was really hoping for an encouraging day. I was hoping for best case scenario, like we've agreed to the deal, and you know what, we're going to get ahead of the 2021 CBA. We're just going to agree to something like, I had all these high hopes that are obviously not realistic, and I think I probably played it up too much in my head. But I was definitely not hoping for the day that we had, because it made me really feel at least at the emotional reaction, the initial reading everything and thumbing through everything and seeing the comments on everything and watching players react and employees react, things like that. The initial reaction was like, crap, we might not have baseball this year. And I'm still one of those roller coaster decision makers day to day. I wake up one day and I'm a 60-40 one way, and then I wake up the other way and I'm a 90-10 the other way. So
well,
you just never know now.
You know how you dang millennials are.
We're so unpredictable.
Out there be wild. And if we're trying to be positive, Leslie's in the stream. She says, awesome mustache, Brooke. So there's
that's what's up.
There's your mustache quota
there's
for
one.
the day. If we're being positive, I think everybody has really grown a lot fonder of Marcus Stroman during all of this. Stro has been he's been phenomenal on the social media, and he had a very positive take on it. He says, praying that we do get this figured out and back on the field soon. It's hard to put into words how much I miss baseball, and everybody misses the game, of course, right now. Even Joe Davis, who grew up, a football guy and even a basketball guy, baseball was not his first love, and he ended up with this amazing gig, and now he realizes how great of a game baseball is. But Stroman says nothing compares to that feeling, excitement of going on the mound, the nausea. He's craving that, but he says everybody stay positive. Just keep the good faith daily. And I guess I'm going to try. I'm going to pretend that I'm going to be positive about this for a little while. That's probably my best take on it.
I'm going to be positive until I absolutely have to be negative about it. Does that answer your question a little bit more?
You and I saw one baseball game this year, and it was good.
It was great.
We saw Mookie Betts play.
Blew out the left.
We saw Mookie Betts play in a Dodgers uniform. We got to stand there for the national anthem and all that. We got the lineup going. The Camelback home opener. We had a good season. We saw one. I don't remember if we won. I think we already walked away. But me, you, Tim, we had a good season.
But we were there.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
We saw a baseball game in 2020.
Sidebarring for a second for anybody questioning Brooks' mic. Sorry, we're doing things a little bit different. We're running without Gary today, and we have some little technical issues. We'll kind of iron them out a little bit better. The podcast side is going to sound great, so make sure you guys listen to us again on iTunes or Spotify, any of those spots. Mash that heart button on there. 5 stars, through the roof, all that kind of stuff. So let's find one or two more comments here. And
here's one from Alfredo that I want you to answer. He says, when do you think the cutoff date is for them to sort it out for any baseball in 2020? Is there a hard cutoff date?
The soft cutoff is probably end of this month. The hard cutoff is that first week of like if we don't have something by the time we are set to go live again next year or next week, which would be next Monday. Again, if something happens, we will come back on live. We'll bust out one of our emergency podcasts, we like to call it. But yeah, next week. That's about it, because you need time, especially if they're doing this 80 game season thing, and they don't want to push into, deep into the winter. Really, they can't push deep into the winter. Next week is really that like 99% cutoff, and that also makes us sad. No, I mean, that's just the realism of it. You really hope everybody can be adults and figure it out. Like Jeff Passan, I think, said at some point last week, he's like, who's going to be the adult in the room? One side needs to be the adult in the room, and you know what? It needs to be the owners.
Yeah, I mean, they technically are adults, right? Isn't that how that works?
I mean, everybody but Jock Peterson, if we're talking about all of the whole of baseball, Jock Peterson might not fall 100% into that category, but, I don't know. Maybe that's me being unfair. No, it's not me being unfair. I'm sure you clicked that link. I'm trying to get it to open.
Oh, the Dodgers one from Alfredo?
From Alfredo. Go for it.
Yeah, it's basically them confirming the pay cuts for the higher level employees, and this plan allows us to avoid organization-wide furloughs and to preserve hundreds of jobs. So it's just them confirming what the reports were today, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we never got an official statement from them on it. It was just all reports. So there you go. Yeah. It's confirmed.
At least they also, they reported it. They confirmed it. That's good on them as well. Because you hate to see them. You hate to see these clubs that are like, one source confirms or whatever. Like the A's who went gangbusters today. It's like, hey, minor leaguers, you're not getting shit no more.
They said scouts fired, full-time employees fired, minor leaguers, you're gone.
How do you fire like all of the talent like evaluators? What, a week and a half before the draft, before the super shortened draft?
Not only that, but they made it like very clear to minor leaguers that they're not free agents and they cannot sign with other teams.
And they can't go work anywhere. They wanted to go. It's so bad. Minor leaguers.
That's wild, man. This is a wild time.
Yeah. Like, this is the type of stuff too. Like, as much as the game wants to get kids, I should say, into it, this is not the kind of stuff that helps, because somebody who has a little bit of an intelligence is going to look at what their kid wants to do with their future, and who in their right mind, what good parent would say, yeah, this is the best career opportunity for you, son or daughter. I mean, I'd love to see a lady just K-ing some dudes in the big leagues, but who would want to come play baseball if like, okay, if you're really good, you're going to get a bunch of money up front, maybe. That even changed now with this new draft thing going on.
Right.
But if not, then you're kind of effed in the A until you're good enough to make it to the big leagues, and then you're kind of effed in the A again for a few years if you consider making only $500,000 being effed in the A.
Tim Rogers makes a good point. He said we got to go steal those A's scouts, and A's have a very good scouting program. By the way. So,
yeah.
Yep. Go take their scouts from them. Tell them they won't be furloughed. Perfect. Yeah, that's got to be tough, man. That's a tough situation that they just put everybody in.
Definitely. Well, I hope we do have a reason to come back on live again later this week, and that reason is positive, or again, just pull, rip off a Band-Aid, pull the plug, let us know, like, hey, this isn't happening.
Give me a definitive answer, one way or another. One way or another, give me a definitive answer.
It's like I don't like this weird part of dating where you don't know, know if you're the one, or if there's like three more people out there. Moving on, guys. I'm sure a few of you, or a lot of you, or many of you, or none of you, just recently joined us from the most recent Dodgers Zoom party. Definitely not the A squad in there, we'll say. Alana, bless her heart, she did great with what she had. we love our Dodgers. We love those players, but they were not the most, rich in personality folks on the team.
That's fair.
That said, my biggest takeaway from the most recent Dodger Zoom party is how the hell did Andrew Friedman get one of our Dodgers Nation T-shirts, and why was he wearing it? That's it.
I was
so many
very
questions.
confused. I saw it. I texted you. I was like, "What is happening? How to get one of our shirts?" I don't think he bought this. Did he steal it?
He walked.
I
into
have
the
no
old
idea
office.
how he got that shirt, but
There it is. That's the older prototype, like the crappy material. We got good stuff. By the way, DodgersNation.com/shop, guys. If you want to buy that shirt, it's right there in the top row. Nice shirt, very
There you
comfortable material. But hey, man, we made it. We made it to the front office.
yeah, I mean, we're in the front office. The sky's the limit.
Yeah. So
Now, how do you think I get a tryout for the team? Because that's got to be the next logical step, right?
when when baseball inevitably crumbles, the owners are going to do something even more stupid and try to go find people that are willing to play for dirt. So there's your shot.
I'm in.
I would love
you can
to
hit
see
home runs
you.
off of me. If you need me to peg people, I'm all in.
Ooh, phrasing.
I'm more of an Angels pitcher because I suck and I can't hit. So
Yeah.
give me a DH.
No, I mean, I'd throw you in I give you that Timmy
Nine-hole.
Castro role, 8-hitter in the outfield. You got the wheels.
Just like a huge elbow pad.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
like a knee pad and an ankle pad.
You got to have the
Sticking myself in front of
armadillo,
it.
man. Because that's
go.
areas.
I gotta
Because that's the other thing too. They're gonna have to, get money from sponsors through the players. So you're gonna have to be wearing, let's say, like 76 on your back. Everybody's number 76.
I'm in.
Perez
I'm
will
in.
play for dirt. I mean, I'm down. I could be that Olmedo Signs role, but not good.
My jersey just says Estrella on the back. Now batting number 76, Estrella.
And I'll be Farmer John on the back of mine. But was there anything you necessarily enjoyed from that recent call?
No.
Yeah.
They did their best with whoever that they had. They didn't have I think every Zoom call needs like a character. And,
Yeah.
It's been Cody, it's been Kenley, it's been Joe Kelly. It's bounced around a little bit here and there. Kike's kind of funny on those Zoom calls,
Mhm.
too. They didn't have that guy. They had a bunch of really quiet dudes.
Yeah, they had
And
all
if
the
Ross
back of the room
Stripling
guys.
if Ross Stripling is the loudest dude on your Zoom call, he's a pretty, he's not like a loud spoken dude.
Yeah.
He's pretty normal dude.
Yeah.
But that Zoom call was definitely Steve Sachs, I will say, is a little bit of a wild card. And he's got stories and he wants to tell them, and it doesn't matter what the question he's asked is. He's just got stories to tell. I think my favorite part, he was like, they're asking him a question that has nothing to do with it. He's like, one time I kicked Michael Jordan in the chest, and they were like, what?
He was writing. I think I saw him looking down. I'm pretty sure he had a notepad of having his best stories on there.
He's like, oh, don't forget to tell him about that one time I kicked Michael Jordan. Don't forget.
This is very important before Lance Armstrong takes over the airwaves with his latest nightmare of a show or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, Sachs was funny. Sachs was interesting. If you enjoy, those older players, just hearing how wild it is, just hearing you talk about it, the first thing I thought of was Tim Leary, accosting Zed.
Yeah, players in that era, dude, they're just they're just a different breed of person.
Yeah.
So of all the ones that I've met, I've met Ron Say, I've met Tim Leary, obviously, they're just a different breed of people. It makes me really want to meet Mike Sosha and learn more about him as a human.
I think it's the Tommy factor.
It's gotta be.
It's
It's
gotta
gotta
be
be.
that
It just made
Lasorda
you a weird
factor.
dude.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was. They had to. Saxy had to clean up his, one of his favorite Lasorda stories, which included, a dead animal in his bed. And that's
Which is
a
just
clean
very spot
story.
on for a Lasorda story.
Yeah.
Man is wild. I barely have a Lasorda story, but I still have to clean it up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yours is solid. I have a couple. We know mine. We got Fat Boy Lasorda telling me that I could lose some weight, essentially. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate you. Just drink some more of your wine, buddy.
Biggest motivation in life.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I feel like they're going to be happy to go back to Monday. Maybe just some of the players, some of the people couldn't make the Tuesday call. You never know what the dealio was, but yeah, we all survived it.
Well, that's what you think.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Do they have another one? They still have more scheduled?
I think they're
Is
just
it
going
else?
to keep doing it until they know.
They're just going to keep trucking through?
Yeah, until they know there's no baseball, or they're going to catch and release, or whatever the hell it may be. Hopefully, yeah, we get, like you said, one of the wild cards. Let's get us one wild card. I saw somebody talking about it here in the stream. You got Bueller. Yeah, Jim says Walker's worried too much about cussing, so he has to be like real slow and methodical in his responses in these things.
Yeah, he's definitely watching everything that he says during these things.
All right, so this one could be fun. This one could be wild. I'm sure Tim. I'm gonna enjoy some of Tim's responses on this. Well, last week we asked some of our fans on Dodgers Nation, some of our people on the Twitter, in your opinion, not even necessarily in your lifetime, in your opinion, what was the best trade? What was the most? What was the greatest trade in Dodgers history? Everybody has their chance. Everybody has the opportunity to read that and take that the way they want. I know you took it your way. I read it my way. Everybody has a version of that story. And, well, Brooke, you kind of got slammed for that story a little bit, for apparently not being, a couple centuries old.
Listen, it's really hard to judge a trade that you weren't alive for.
Yeah.
But I feel like I deserve some credit here, because there was two that I put in there that I was not even a thought of yet, and put them in there. Just so you guys know, it takes a lot of deep digging and a lot of considering for the long-term effects of a team, because that's how I looked at it. Like, it's not good for your team in the immediate moment, but long-term.
Yeah.
People took it differently.
Well, I mean, there's both. There is the immediate moment. There's the long-term. There's well, I mean, I guess those are really only the two options. There's the immediate moment and the long-term, and I guess sort of somewhere caught in the middle is, did that win you a championship? And
right.
I don't know. Do you want
and
to?
It's tough because we haven't won a championship in my lifetime.
Oh,
so.
yeah. That is kind of on your shoulders there, Chief.
Yeah, that's on me. I will give you my most unpopular pick from that list, because this is the one that I got hammered on repeatedly for agreeing with this. I still think that the Yasiel Puig Matt Kemp trade is one of the greatest trades in the history of baseball, let alone the Dodgers.
Yeah, I get
Many
it.
people did not like that,
and
I understand.
Haul.
I understand. I was the first time Matt Kemp was traded, broke my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I was a kid. It devastated me, made me really sad. I loved Matt Kemp. The second time Matt Kemp was traded, I was like, at first, like, oh man, like, here's a dude, comes back to LA, is this great redemption story, becomes an all-star, crushes Archie Bradley, just a great freaking story. And, then he gets traded and then doesn't really do anything, bounces around on minor league contracts, and is now on a minor league contract with the Marlins, I think. People really didn't like the Yasiel Puig side of it. I understand that entirely. Like, Puig, I think, saved a couple years for us that we didn't necessarily have in the bag. And he definitely brought a lot of fans to the stadium and definitely re-energized the fan base that was coming out of the McCourt era of baseball.
Yeah,
I think we owe Puig a lot more than he actually gets. A lot more credit than he actually gets.
Yeah,
I understand.
The worst part about Puig was that the media hated him because he didn't know what the hell he was doing in his first year and a half, 2 years here in the United States of America, where, oh, by the way, you're like Jerry Harrison Jr. told us, you're a millionaire, you're thrown here, you're the right fielder, you're the starting right fielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers, go play, here's a bunch of money.
Yeah, good luck, figure it out.
You came from
We know
dirt.
You've never done this or had this, but here, figure it out. So I get it. People love Yasiel Puig. I still love Puig. I would still love to have him back on the team at any point under the right circumstances. You got to consider the long-term effects of this trade, though, because you think about, number one, you think about where the players that they traded are now.
Mm-hmm.
Puig is not on the Reds anymore. He's gone and doesn't even have a team right now. Kemp is obviously with the Marlins on a minor league deal. Alex Wood is back with us. Kyle Farmer is the only one who's still there.
Yeah.
And I mean, Kyle Farmer's a great dude. We love him, but that's not a guy that you're gonna, pull your hair out over trading.
You're not building a franchise around Kyle Farmer.
No, and we got Homer Bailey, so we won the trade.
Legend.
But we also got Jeter Downs and Josiah Gray. So obviously, Jeter Downs leaves in the Mookie Betts trade, which a lot of people were like, well, if Mookie never plays, then that's a stupid trade. No. This has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with that trade at all. We are talking about this trade where we got Jeter Downs and Josiah Gray. By the way, Josiah Gray, a top prospect in our farm system right now. Not to mention the fact that it gave us financial flexibility for the next 5 years at least. Given the fact that it helped us reset the luxury tax. There's so many aspects that go into this trade that make it a steal of a trade. Yeah. And I still cannot understand the Reds' side of this trade. I still don't get it. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they expected.
They desperately wanted to get rid of Homer Bailey. And can you blame them? You cannot blame them.
And I mean, if you're looking at Puig's numbers, that's a good guy to fit into your lineup. Sure, if you're the Reds, he's a guy who's going to sell tickets. They had obviously the gun show between him and Derek Dietrich.
Yeah.
So they were like, whatever, we're not going to win a bunch of games, but we're going to put a lot of butts in seats. And I'm sure if you looked at the attendance, there was probably a spike when Puig was there. I don't have those numbers, obviously, but I'm sure there was a spike.
I mean, it's rough. They were playing to sort of win a weaker NL Central, and it just plainly didn't work.
Right.
The immediate return wasn't apparent for the Dodgers, and for people that might not follow as closely as somebody like you and I or somebody like Tim would follow the Dodgers, right. They're not going to understand the trade as much. You're going to look at it exclusively as a salary dump, almost in the way there was, the Agon and Matt Kemp coming back to LA trade. That was another one of those. Money dumping more than anything. We didn't really get any major prospects out of it, but kind of looking at some of these other ones, I have two schools of thought on it. I'm gonna and I'll space them out for the fun of it, but mine was your number 4 was the one that just helped in the immediate, and that was Manny Ramirez coming to Los Angeles. I mean, within weeks, the dude had a section in left field. How much, was spoken about this dude and what he meant to the club. Think about it. He had almost 400 after being traded to the Dodgers.
He was a monster.
He was a monster. Yeah, he was unbelievable what he did to that club, helping propel them to, back-to-back, less so in 2009, but back-to-back National League Championship Series. He brought that winning mentality to a young team that desperately needed it, a team that was still, they were only 2 years in the league. You have, Ethier and Russell Martin and James Loney, Billingsley. That was the first year of Clayton Kershaw in the league. And to get somebody who has done it, just about done it all, between his time with Cleveland and then into Boston, becoming a hero there, winning a couple of World Series, or one World Series. Yeah, he had only won one at that time. That was just a difference maker trade. I mean, there was the small trade before it, the Casey Blake trade, but still that one fully legitimized the team and changed the bravado for the club by leaps and bounds and gave us a shot to win something. So that was my in the immediate. So in your opinion, so all right, I mean obviously you went with the Jeter Downs trade, the Kyle Farmer trade as on the list. Was that really part of your personal list?
Yeah, I think on my personal list that was definitely on there. I still really like the Adrian Gonzalez trade, mostly because
which one? To LA.
Yeah, to LA, mostly because when you consider what was sent for that package was pretty much nothing. None of those guys really did anything. Did it help? I don't know. I mean, really, when you're looking at it and you're looking back at it, the Dodgers only really got Adrian Gonzalez in that deal. There's not much that came with it, unless you want to count Beckett's no. But other than that, he didn't. Man. Trying to prove to.
Come on,
And
man.
yeah, I mean Beckett provided some starts for us. He was great. Carl Crawford, whenever he was healthy, he was a pretty productive player. He just so happened to not be healthy like ever, like at any point. So that was a tough one to grade because it's such a huge deal that ultimately just includes Adrian Gonzalez. But having Adrian Gonzalez in LA was huge. Like that was a really big difference maker
Oh,
for
yeah.
a fan base. Like it was great timing. It matched up well. I mean, he just felt right in a Dodger uniform. I still miss him. I still wish we had like a really good Gonzo back on our team, but
Yeah.
he's doing well. He's healthy and all that.
Yeah,
Um,
that was the thing I told you about that Gonzo trade. I was like, that one really was the stepping stone to this current Dodger team, this 7
Right.
in a row team. That wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for Aegon coming to LA, because he
No.
filled a huge gaping hole at first base that the team had for the longest time. It wasn't going to be Jerry Sands, KBO legend, now Nippon legend, who, by the way, was part of that trade. So how dare you say we didn't trade anything away?
That's the Jerry Sands
You
trade.
son of a... Anyway, but yeah, that trade pulled the fan base kind of back in, because it was, how long after? It was a year, not even a year. It was the same year that Guggenheim took over from the Frank McCourt era. And
It was a flex.
Yeah,
it
it
was a
was
big time flex. It was like,
huge.
we are capable.
Ned Coletti is like, you want some money?
Yeah.
So yeah, what that eventually meant, and what Aegon did for the club for the longest time, did for the community for the longest time, and ultimately was that stepping stone to first base for Cody Bellinger and all that kind of stuff. Just that was a game changer, and ultimately I think will be considered definitely the greatest team. Cohesive unit in Los Angeles Dodger history. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are upset at me about that, when not giving credit to, the teams with the record-setting infield, the teams that went and played, the Yankees so many times in a row in the World Series and all that. But when you
Right.
look at the extreme consistency of these teams against ball clubs that are so much better than they were back then, like these humans are built different now than they were then. Shout out McDonald's. No Dodger clubs ever put together this many 100-win seasons in
Right.
such a short amount of time. So you look at that, you look at the competition, and you look at all that. This is a fantastic era of Dodger baseball. I'm not going to get myself into enough trouble and say it's better than them bums, in the late 40s and 50s doing everything they did. But still, it's pretty phenomenal, and you could kind of thank Adrian Gonzalez for helping set that up. But digging into some of the comments here, you got Reggie Smith right off the bat from Tim Rogers, and I'm going to say both of us weren't alive for that particular era of Dodger
I don't remember
baseball.
that one, no.
I know how much you look at the back of the baseball card and what Reggie Smith meant to the Dodgers, and that's obvious, that's apparent. But I'm sure that was a good trade. Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I like-
Another one that I saw pop up in the conversation was Milton Bradley for Ethier.
Ooh,
And I think if
good
you
trade.
had traded Milton Bradley for literally anything on earth, it would have been one of the better trades. But
Yeah.
the fact that you got Ethier back, pretty great trade. That one I only saw pop up a few times in the comments on Twitter, maybe once or twice, but it's a very underrated trade that I think people forget. I think people forget that Ethier wasn't just on the Dodgers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the mid to late 2000s there, the late aughts. Man, that was he was the man. He was that bridge. He was that number 3 hitter type guy. He was that guy you can plug in anywhere and he got things done. Even though he couldn't hit left-handed pitching,
That's okay.
Dre Day was just was a difference maker for sure. And that being
They didn't know about platoon hitting yet.
and that being what do you expect when you got Joe Torre? I think there was a little bit of Grady Little in there. Yeah, it makes enough sense. As I say with that, I believe that was Ned Coletti's first trade as GM of your Los Angeles Dodgers. So that's pretty cool. That's
should
a
have retired
win.
after that.
Yeah, that's definitely a win. Rhino here on YouTube says getting rid of Hector Olivera. Yeah, just getting rid of him was a phenomenal move. We didn't
move.
get Kike in that trade. That was the one we got Alex Wood in that trade, and Woody, had several seasons being an anchor in that, the back half of the rotation. and you got rid of somebody who was a problem child and was not producing. So win-win there. Good trade on little Andrew Friedman, friend of the show apparently.
Definitely.
Let's see what else you got. Norma can only think of the worst trades, which I think we can talk about that next week because there are some pretty
there you go.
bad trades.
That's a good one to bring up. Tim brings up the Grandal trade, which I think everybody forgets because a lot of people didn't like Yasmani Grandal. But
Yeah.
as much as you hate to hear it, the best catcher in the league while he was with the Dodgers was probably Yasmani Grandal for a couple of years, actually.
Yeah.
Matter of fact.
They're right there, or at least just behind Real Muto.
Right. It's the fact that Real Muto was out there and was an option, and Grandal was dropping balls behind the plate.
Yeah.
Didn't time up well, but great trade.
And as advertised, Tim is dropping all of the trades, I think, from the last maybe 125 years of Dodgers baseball. We appreciate you, Tim Rogers. He's got Baker, Dusty Baker. He's got Burt Hooton. He's got Reggie Smith in there, and they did help win a World Series. But that's not one trade. We're talking about one trade, Timothy. So, what up? Threatening the audience now. But yeah, the Grandal trade, that was the first part of the Matt Kemp trade. So that was those were interesting times. It was like, is it going to be Ethier or is it going to be Kemp? And for the longest time it was that, which was a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, they unloaded him and his money. There you go. Tim just said it right now. They unloaded Kemp and his money at the perfect time. Absolutely, they did. It was, I mean, you tried telling that to, I don't remember how old I was back then. I was some age, like a teenager.
3-year-old Brooke Me.
Was not that age, but it was the perfect time for it, and you get a good deal out of that.
We have I saw right here Raimundo Ray says a CT3 trade. Yes, that was a haul. It wasn't franchise altering, but man, was it good. Yeah, the D Gordon trade.
Classic
D Gordon
trade.
trade is still paying dividends for LA. We still have Kike. We still have Austin Barnes. It was a solid trade. Howie Kendrick was fine in Dodger Blue for his time. So, yeah, I mean, there were some really good trades in recent memory for sure. I'm sorry that you got severely accosted by the internet for.
It's okay. I think people assume I'm older than I am on the internet. It might be like the way that I talk. I'm not really sure.
You have an older cadence on the internet.
Yeah.
But
that's
for anybody watching this after we do it live, let us know your thoughts, your favorite players, your favorite trades, or even your worst trades. Let us know in the comments below. Where do you rank even the Manny Machado trade in all of Dodger lore? Definitely the Hanley Ramirez trade, the Manny Ramirez trade. You got a pair of Ramirez to go through. There were some fantastic trades recently, and we want to know what you think about them. With that said, I decided I want to do something a little bit different here to end the show. We've kind of been teasing at it, introducing a little bit more of our. I guess this whole show is our personality per se, but more about us as people have been complaining, and I've been not pointing out that you are a grainy, blurry Brooke. We got to get you some fresh internet over there.
You know what they say.
Borrowing from our friends Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser in their off-air podcast, they're I would say they're more positive than us. That tends to be their thing.
Yeah, I think just in general, Joe Davis is a more positive person than any of us. I'm not very positive.
You're not very positive. We're proud of you for it. Be miserable.
Thank you.
The M in me 3 is for miserable. I don't know. That was really a reach. I tried my best. I pulled something together, but we figured we would do something a little bit different. Try the positive thing for the end of this show. And Brooke, I want to know what you're watching this week.
What am I watching this week?
Yeah. Or what have you been watching? What are you and Mrs. Me 3 watching on the television or computer machine?
Oh, okay. I was very confused at what the question was. I've actually been rewatching The Office a lot lately, which is that's kind of like a cop out, but I feel like I ran through all of Netflix during quarantine, like all the stuff worth watching. And I'm back on The Office. Just like the basic seasons that have Steve Carell in them, because the other ones aren't worth watching at all. And I'm thinking about starting Ozarks. I'm not sure what it's called. I was thinking about starting that next because people told me to. So if you like it, and you think I should watch it, drop it in the comments, and maybe I'll listen to you. But maybe I won't because I'm miserable.
I have a number of things that I really need to catch up on. I haven't watched any of that. Of course I've watched The Office a few times through. I got Eaton. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name there, but on YouTube, Eaton Myron. I'm gonna assume I'm messing that up, but we appreciate you hanging out with us. We appreciate your comment. He says Community's pretty good. Didn't watch that one yet. I was more of a Parks and Rec guy during that time. For me, to answer the question, since you didn't ask me, thanks.
What are you watching?
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Mostly YouTube. Like my stuff is easily digestible. I could just walk away after 20 or 45 minutes. But for the greater part, anything Gordon Ramsay, like we're in on season 3 of Hell on Wheels, or back to Hell on Back in 24 hours, something like that. Or it is Hell on Wheels. I don't know, but it's entertaining watching every single restaurant being the worst I've ever seen. Every time.
I've watched like every episode of Hell's Kitchen that's ever happened, and I'm pretty sure that he hates everything, and I love it so much.
No,
that's why I like him.
What's really, I mean, if you watch any of these kind of Reno shows of his, it's really weird, and Mrs. FRG tends to bring it up. It's like he's the most like sweetest dude when it comes to the people that deserve it, of course, not the people that are ruining or taking advantage or whatever, even when it comes to the owners. But yeah, this particular version of the show, it's different. It's really cool because he focuses so much on like the strong female leads or ladies he can help out in these restaurants or whatever, whether it be like sisters that just want to destroy each other, or somebody that just has their head up their ass. It's which is a good sandwich in his opinion, I think. But it's always entertaining watching this guy. So, oh man, look at that. You are Gordon Ramsay, according to Rhino.
Oh yeah, Gordon hates everything. Brooke hates everything. Perfect match. That's spot on. I think we should be buddies. We can hate each other.
I know, right? You throw like an ass.
Swag Daddy McGee over on Twitch says Disney Plus has The Rookie and Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year doesn't hold up. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have watched Rookie of the Year lately, but that movie does absolutely not hold up from the last time that you saw it. I can almost guarantee that. That's funny. That's spot on.
Deborah's rewatching Breaking Bad. I have not seen any of the Breaking Bad either.
You've never seen Breaking Bad? Breaking Bad's good.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any of Game of Thrones. I haven't seen any. What haven't I watched? Basically everything I haven't watched. I haven't watched any of Walking Dead. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't do the things that I have to absorb into. I watched The Office because I was like a kid when it premiered, so I was able to grow up with these people and watch it. Same with like How I Met Your Mother. I don't get into series anymore because when it's over, it's like a part of you is ripped away, and it's just I'm not into that. Life is painful enough.
You don't want to get attached.
I don't want to get attached.
Can't hurt you if you don't love it.
Katie's still rewatching all the Marvel movies because that's all she cares about. Respect. Like, we throw on the MCU here and there just for funsies. We recently rewatched Ant-Man 2. Looking forward to the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming back on. I hope that it's not terrible because I would like for them to go out with a bang. Because, who doesn't love Clark Gregg and as Agent Coulson? Damn it, now we need to watch Avengers again. That's my plan. I'm going to watch just Avengers over and over so I can watch him die and then magically come back to life a few
Tuesday
months
night
later.
plans.
Tuesday night plans. Or no, after that I have to edit this. So with that said, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and hit the old wrap it up button. But find us on the internet. We are Dodgers Nation. You can find us at DodgersNation.com. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM. Oh, so many more. And while you're at it, while you're on the internet, do subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. Please, it validates us.
It does. I don't feel validated otherwise. I'll never be happy. Guys, I am at BrookMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. That guy on the other side of the screen, either on the left or the right, I'm not sure, is at RealFRG on Twitter or Instagram. We are Dodger Nation on Twitter, official Dodgers Nation on Instagram. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you for your questions, your comments. I'm not going to thank the production team because it's just you. So,
Why I can't be thanked? I
but
didn't
thank
make you blurry.
Thank you, Clint. Thank you for the production. I would like to complain to my internet, etc. We love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. If there's more news this week, you're going to hear from us on Thursday. But if not, we'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye.